I spent the entire afternoon walking around in the rain and thunderstorm from jewelry store to jewelry store asking in my broken Italian if they had a battery. This sounds like an amazing adventure and afternoon. Like this sounds like my ideal life. Just, I mean, walking around in Italy. Oh, wow.
Flipping through the pages of my old journals, with every turn another memory, and dusty words bring pictures to my mind. I see the marks of the passage of time.
Hello, welcome to the 30th episode of Journaling Through the Years. That's right, the big 3-0. And as you can see, I have sort of redecorated just a little bit. You'll notice this chalkboard right here. It's long-term intentions, wedding dress and breasts, because I'm hopefully very soon going to be getting this year, as in very soon, a breast reduction. So that's that. And because I'm just way too big, and I mean, there's health problems, there's back pain, there's headaches just all the time. It's just all the time. Sometimes it's worse, sometimes it's less. That's one of the big reasons why I'm so glad I finally have a gym membership, because I go to the gym and I can do some weight machines that strengthen everything. And the wedding dress, I got married 11 some years ago, and I still have this silly wedding dress, and I would so like to sell it and make some money off of that situation. It was not a very profitable marriage, as we'll probably get into later on at some point. So then so where is it? So there's this, I made that, and it's when I was a fundamentalist. They used to say that every time you give your heart away or your body away, like premarital sex and purity culture and all that, so every time it was bad. So every time, well, purity culture was bad for a different reason, but premarital sex, you shouldn't do it because you have to be pure, because if you give away your body, you're giving away your heart. And your heart is getting broken and pulled away and smaller, and you have less to give your husband, because for a woman, that's like the ultimate goal in that kind of religion. But I made this because even though my heart is kind of ripped in shreds, it's more whole and beautiful because of all the times I've given my heart away. It's actually expanded and grown every time I've loved someone new. And I think that's totally God-centered. And then this, I don't know if you can see it, at the top it says, "This is not real life," and then it has like these three different kind of women, the perfect models, and that I just thought was cool. My calendar, I actually used this screw gun and screwed in like screws to hang them up, because I was trying to pin them up and things were falling, so I actually reset things up. I may, once these things get done, erase it and just be like, "Subscribe," really big, and point to it. So you can subscribe, and you can also support a CafeGirl on Patreon, www.patreon.com/CafeGirl I will be changing that in the website link at some point, because I'm changing the business name, CafeGirl to CafeGirl Thriving. So stay tuned. Keep that in your mindset. Let's see. It was a pretty good, relaxing weekend. A little tired, a little rundown. I am menstruating, if you want to know. Oh, if you become a patron, you get to see this early, like 7 days before it's released, as well as some other great incentives that you'd have to check out if you went there. I am drinking out of this mug today, and in it's regular coffee, and then I'm trying this like alternative coffee drink just to see, and so it's a little bit kind of, I don't know, bland, but I don't know, maybe I'll get used to it. Let's see, what else? I've been thinking a lot about my fundamentalist past, and as we're getting closer and closer and working through the college years, I am kind of dreading looking into that time of my life for a few reasons. One of which is because it's fundamentalist or conservative Christianity is just, it was falling away from the teachings of Christ even before Trump. It was just it was just becoming something that is, they think that they're right on target because they're misinterpreting, or they're interpreting the scriptures to fit their mindset. And we can go into that further. But then there's a part of me that when I was like halfway through my early being a Christian, I was only a Christian for like 7 years. I had my major breakdown that finally got my diagnosis, in which I was not who I am today. I've always had an anger problem. I've always had my issues with bipolar and, trauma issues that cause these kind of emotional outbursts or anger outbursts or whatever. And there's that. But I did them to people, and I never got, like, when I was growing up, nothing ever really came from it. Like, if I did it, nobody really, it just, like, I got better and moved on, and we didn't look at it. So I never knew somehow it was wrong, because there was no consequences until all of this happened, and I'm glad it did. But I think inwardly, I knew it was wrong. I didn't want to scream at these people. I didn't want to think these thoughts, and I was thinking homicidal thoughts, but I would never actually do that stuff. So that's going to be hard to look at. And there's a part of me that's like, oh, well, maybe maybe that's why I left the church, because maybe I'm a filthy sinner and I couldn't be with Christ. No. Those are two separate issues. Why I left the church and that right there. Actually, me getting the diagnosis and having to go into therapy, different types of therapy in that range from about 2007 to 2010-ish, it was what kind of broke me free, because the thing that really got me out of the church was that it was superficial. There were superficial relationships. The pastor would preach this amazing message, interpreting scripture, and be very deep, and I would want to, like, hey, let's talk about what we just learned, and everybody would just be like, just looking and not even really talking to each other, but talking at each other, and everybody would be joking around, which is fine. It's fine to be happy and this and that, but that was all it was. Really, there was never really that much time to really be depth and to really know someone. I mean, sometimes you can have one-on-one, which I liked, but I don't know, it just seemed so trivial, so superficial, and I was really delving deep into my soul, into my mental health and psychological self, and a lot of people were like, that church, on the whole, believe that psychology and mental health issues was of the devil. Like, if you were pursuing that, you should not pursue outside the church. You should pursue a Christian psychologist, a Christian therapist, this and that. You should not take meds. You should not do that. And that's not right. And so that was why I left. So my mental health got me better, but facing the fact that I did these evil things out of my mental illness is hard to deal with. Yet at the same time, I'm glad they did it. I'm glad I went to that dark side. I can look back on those people and still send love back to them, and know that was their purpose, our purpose together, coming together. Our soul contract, if you will, was coming together to have that disruption, to help me learn and evolve and break that cycle beyond it. So now all I have to do is send love back to them. And I do, freely, and I have happy memories. But it's difficult to look at. But we're off the topic, because we're still in Italy, in this lovely little journal thing that I think I got from one of my Swiss friends. I think it was one of my Swiss friends. Does that sound weird? I just have two friends. I have so many friends all over the world. I do, actually. Even more now, because some of my college friends from here one moved to England and one moved to Italy, near where I was. So here we go again. This is a fun little adventure that I had while I was studying abroad. And remember, 23.2.99, if you're playing along, that is February 23rd, 1999. Because remember, we talked about this last week. That's the month. That's the date. And that's the year. And look, it says good. Somebody wrote good. Yesterday, my watch battery died. Dun dun dun! So I spent the entire afternoon walking around in the rain and thunderstorm from jewelry store to jewelry store, asking in my broken Italian if they had a battery. This is when I wore a watch. I remember this watch. I think I got it like when I graduated high school, and it was like kind of like a grandma-ish watch, and it was like gold and silver, and it went around and it had a little lock. It didn't undo. It was like a bracelet or something, and it got too tight eventually, and I never fixed it because I've never worn watches. Maybe when I was a kid, I had like the My Little Pony one or something. I was like, look, and now who wears a watch? You just have a phone and you're like, what time is it, you know? But anyway, so then I did. I think I got it for, here's a funny thing. My friend recently retired locally. He retired from his job, and I decided that I would bring him a watch, and it would be a cheesy like toy watch. And then when I went to his retirement party, I saw like his niece, and I showed it to her, and she goes, you should, every time you see him, just give him a fake cheesy watch. And I was thinking to myself, this girl doesn't know me. And I have. So far, he has two. I haven't, actually, the second time my partner was going to go on a film set, and he was this director. He was a director-producer, and he just recently retired from his normie job. And I said, here's a watch. And it was like a cheesy grandma watch. And I said, give that to Ray. And that's the second time. It's going to happen every time. Don't tell Ray. He may watch this. I don't know if he will. Who knows? I don't care. The right people watch. Okay, where were we? I spent the entire afternoon walking around in the rain and thunderstorm from jewelry store to jewelry store, asking in my broken Italian if they had a battery. This sounds like an amazing adventure and afternoon. Like this sounds like my ideal life. Just, I mean, walking around in Italy. Oh, wow. None of them did, and they all instructed me to this one place called Maury's or something like that. That place, they said in their broken English, might definitely have my battery. Now, here was the problem. How do I find this place? So I walk all over Florence in the rain, the thunder, the hailstorm, this scared little girl from small town California wishing for something familiar. You know, I don't know if, like, maybe I was scared or kind of nervous about it all because I hadn't really dealt with my anxiety. Now I think I'd be like, let's do this because this is fun. I think, yeah, a really empowering time. One of the things that I developed the ability to do in Italy that was good is be on my own and just explore. Yes, I had issues with keeping people at arm's length because for whatever reason, I was afraid to be loved, even with those friends, so I didn't let them in, and I just hadn't looked at a lot of my issues, and I was having outbursts then. Of course, I always had them. They weren't as bad as when I got in 2006, 2007, but all the time, and all my life, and a lot of it was, I think, it was safer to keep people away, and to judge them, and to be by myself. But the good thing is in Italy, you know, went away, and I've been able to get it back now, but in Italy was one of the first times in my life that I was able to be with myself and comfortable in my own skin. So maybe I was a little lonely, but I was enjoying the time. Okay. Finally at the Piazza della, and it was this experience of having to wander around and figure this out, I think that empowered me, gave that sense of, okay, I can do this. Finally, at the Piazza della Signoria, I guess my Italian is so bad, I walk up to this guy leaning against the wall to ask him for help. He explains to me that he is also an American. He was probably like, hey. He tries to help me. We stand there for a few minutes staring around blankly. Then another guy walked by, and because I can't speak Italian much, and because I can't say Italian words that well, I was trying to tell the American man that we were in the Piazza della Signoria, but it came out Signor, and the man walking by turned and looked. Because I probably said Signor, and he's like, because that means like Mr. Hey, Mr. Hey, sir, you know? So we're He turned out to be my savior, though. I don't know who he is. I don't know his name, but he was my savior. What if that was like my savior? What if like when Jesus comes back, it's like that guy? I'm like, hey, watch guy. I asked him if he knew where to go. He went and asked another man. Then came, they saw all these men. Where's the women? Then came back and told me to follow him. Okay, that's creepy. Just follow me. Like, just follow me. And I did it. He led me all the way to the place I wanted to go. I mean, he went to another guy. He could have like, and then they come and they take me away. They didn't have the battery needed for my watch, but still the experience was worth noting. It is. I mean, that is really cool because I had to like branch out and talk to these people. And then I think I'd been there for about a month. And so my language was a lot better than it is even now. Italian, like, yeah. And that probably helped it too, by just having to figure it out and talk to these people. Immersion. I mean, I've totally lost it. I can say like, well, it's mixed in because I've taken Spanish since then. So now I've got this weird mixture of Spanish and Italian, and they're similar but a little different. Italian is a little bit more Latin-based. It's a little bit more, I mean, they're both Latin-based, but Italian is a little bit more actually phonetic, and Spanish is a little bit less. And then you go to France, and they're all similar, but French are like, I don't even know. Like somebody in France, like I had a friend from France at the time, and he would tell me when I went there, he said, well, people from Italy and Spain, if we go to Italy and Spain, we can read like the words, but if somebody tries to talk, and know what it is, but if somebody tries to talk to us, we can't understand them and they can't understand us because of pronunciation. But Italian is like the most phonetic. So Duomo, which is a cathedral, basically, that's all that's coming to mind. Pronto, that's hello. Pronto. Okay, anyways. This is the same day, I think. Yeah, no, wait, what? We're going backwards in time. That was the 23rd, and now suddenly here we are, February 22nd, 1999. It's probably because I was writing. I had to do this for school or something. It's Monday night, and I need to make a phone call. I'm tired, but more tired in need of food. Okay, like I'm just hungry. I'm tired because I'm hungry. I make plans to go out with some people from my pensione, but while we were waiting for everyone to get ready to decide to go make a phone call to my friend to tell her that I will come to her place on spring break and call some other friends. Okay, other friends. So anyways, I wander, I said, but I meant wander. I wander down the street. You know how annoying the phones are here? This is in 1999. No one had cell phones. Or they did, but it was like, ooh, what's that big brick you're holding? Oh my God, a cell phone. Like, especially in Italy, there was a lot of people with cell phones. But it wasn't like it is today. And if they were basically just phones, and they were like big bricks, or they were little flip phones. Yeah, but for some reason, Italians and Europeans had cell phones readily available more than people in America. Anyways, you know how annoying the phones are here? They say plunk, plunk in a coin, stick in your calling card, blah, blah, blah. Well, this particular phone just didn't like my coin. I put it in and it sped it back out. This happens like 20 billion times. Because I stand there putting it in again and again, and it's spitting it back out like a bitch. I'll put a trigger warning or a content warning, slang word, but I'm not going to beep that out. So I decide to try the other phone because it's just so perfect, like a bitch. So I decide it's a perfect description. So I decide to try the other phone. I grab all my stuff hastily, in parentheses, and walk down the block to the phone, and something mysterious. My phone card. Do you even know what a phone card if you're like born like after 2000? It was this thing from a phone company. This was from MCI, which you probably don't even know what MCI is. And it was like a little, like, looked like a credit card, but you could put money on it. And then you could call with that. You could use that on a payphone. Do you even know what a payphone is? A payphone was this thing where you could go, and it was like, sometimes they were in boxes, sometimes they're just against the wall. And you go and you'd pull it, and you'd like Like, and you'd have to put in a coin, and they'd be like 10 cents back in the day for like local calls, because there was such a thing as local only, and then there was like more 50 cents if it was like beyond your city, and then more, of course, to be outside of the state. But that even went the way before even landlines went away. That went away for the most part. They used to be everywhere. Where does Superman come out of now that everybody has cell phones? Like, where does he run into? How did he? Because Superman in the day, like, he would run into a phone booth and then come out as Superman, right? Where does he go now? In a porta potty? Like, what is he? I don't know. Also, wouldn't it be interesting to have a crossover of Superman running into a phone booth and the Doctor? What if like, he just like sees the phone booth, he sees the TARDIS, and he just runs in there, and then it's like, whoa! I just came in here to change. Or he goes in there and he doesn't even think about it. He turns around and the Doctor's like, what are you doing? And the Doctor can see it all happening. He's like, whoa, hello. Or she's like, whoa, hello, there's a naked man. Oh, no, not naked anymore. Okay, because, I mean, I don't know if he actually, like, you can see anything. I would. Superman's hot. Okay, where were we? I walked down the block to the phone car. Something mysterious. My phone card, prepaid MCI calling card, is missing. I left it behind. I freak out and head up and down the street, checking and rechecking my steps, my purse almost crying, trying to be encouraging in a way by saying, at least it's just my calling card and not my credit card. But for some reason that doesn't seem to work, because for me, sometimes when one teeny little thing goes wrong, my whole life ends. Figuratively speaking, of course. Now, I mean, I think we all have been there at some extent, berating ourselves. I think for me, because of past abuse, the way I was raised, blah, 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 that if one little thing happened, it was like scolded. And so I expected that, so I just start beating myself up for the littlest thing. Like, if I'm a minute late, I still beat myself up. It's a minute late. It's like, not, you're basic, it's fine, you know? But so that is where that's coming from. But I think we all do that to some extent, especially like different times of the month for women, or just if we're like tired or haven't eaten, we all kind of get in that mindset. So I end up running back to my hotel, or pensione, which is like a bed and breakfast, but whatever. Not knowing what else to do, checking my room and getting some info about what to do from a friend and my hotel worker people. I go back to the phone and call MCI toll-free number, 1-800 blah blah blah, ask them to cancel my calling card and order a new one, which they can't do because it's not under my name but under my dad's. They call my parents, ask them, then connect me to my mom, who was the only one that they talked to, so I had to talk to her. I put an emphasis on had for reasons I won't go into right now. Anyway, after such a stressful event, I went and had a pizza. I don't know why I put an emphasis on had. Maybe I was embarrassed that I'd lost this, that I was expecting to be punished in a way. And that's never fun. Especially when you're in your early 20s and you're trying to be grown up and all that stuff, and you expect to just be punished and like you can't do anything. Anyway, after such a stressful event, I went and had a pizza. Then went to a bar and had a drink at the bar. I met these two old Italian guys. They were old. That's sweet. Who, I wonder if they were just like in their 40s. And in my 20s, I was like, they're so old. I bet you. Who knew English, because everyone speaks English here, and talked to them. I like that. I like that a lot. They bought me a red rose from a little girl. It was pretty. I hung it to dry and preserve it. That's all. And then we're backwards again. This is March now. March 2nd, 1999. This place is heaven for me. I like to stare at people and eat all day. That's what I do. Okay. I like to eat all day. I can't imagine eating all day now, but when I was like 20, 21, it would just like 2 minutes later, it would just burn away. But Italian food is some of the best. You know what's sad is now that I have celiac, whenever I get back to Italy, which I want to go to Italy, I want to go to Ireland, maybe France, Switzerland, of course, because I still have friends there. I've got a friend in England. I feel like I just want to like go everywhere. Like whenever I get my debt paid off and I can make it work, I want to go back to Europe for sure. And Ireland is on the list because I've always wanted to go there. I'm Irish. It feels like a homeland and a pilgrimage, I guess. But, and it would be fun to go to England to kind of see, like, just see that. And then now that I've watched Doctor Who and a lot more of the BBC shows, it'd be fun to see where that was filmed. I'm all over the place. Sorry. Maybe it's too much coffee. But Italy, what I'm nervous about now is I loved the pizzas and the pastas and like, oh God, it was so good. And it's got wheat in it. Wheat. W-H-E-A-T. I don't know if they know celiac. I don't know if it'd be fine. I don't know if it's like this country, the way we raise bring it up, and what we put into it, but I eat organic food. So I think I'd go there and they'd be like, you want a pizza or you want and I'd have to figure out, oh, what else do you eat in Italian? There's other stuff. I'm like, I'll just have the tomatoes. What is it, like caprese with the thing on it? I couldn't even eat the bread. Oh my gosh. But the cappuccinos, definitely. And the gelato. I just eat the gelato and the cappuccinos all the time. But who knows? I mean, that may something that they're adapting is making pizza and stuff, especially these days, more acceptable. So, I'm going to end there for today. I've got quite a busy day, quite a busy life. I hope you're doing well. Just, I don't know, let me know what you think about my adventures all over Italy. Florence, Italy. Firenze, Italia. And if you think I'm the oldest person in the world now because of my comments on the phone cards and such. So have a good week, and we'll talk later. Bye!
Ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Se io muoio da partigiano, tu mi devi seppellire lassù in montagna. Oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, ciao, ciao. Seppellire lassù in montagna, sotto l'ombra di un bel fiore. Che passeranno, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 e le genti che passeranno e diranno che bel fiore, e questo è il fiore del partigiano, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 e questo è il fiore del partigiano, morto per la libertà, e questo è il fiore partigiano, oh bella ciao, bella ciao, bella ciao, 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 e questo è il fiore del partigiano, morto per la libertà.